President, midnight's approaching, and a government shutdown is looming in front of us. And I'd say there's, as we can tell in this city, there's not a lot of things that senators will agree on. But I think there's one thing that just about every senator I've spoken with does agree on, and that is we have a budgeting and spending process that is broken. In fact, the first bill I introduced in Congress was a bill that simply said if members of Congress can't pass a balanced budget, they shouldn't get paid. Nobody here likes to see CR after CR after CR. CR stands for continuing resolution. Think about it. We have a government that starts its fiscal year every year on October 1st. Now, I spent 28 years in the private sector, 13 of those years with Procter & Gamble, a Fortune 25 company. Spent time in a small family business. Spent time as part of a cloud computing startup that we grew over 1,000 jobs, took the company public. So I've had a lot of experience in budgets, managing spending, ensuring that you actually take in more money than you spend, because that's called profit in a business. But here in Washington, D.C., we are now October, November, December, middle of January. We're 3.5 months into the fiscal year without having nailed down the spending plan. It's broken. That needs to be reformed. And on a more optimistic note, there's a group of Republican and Democrat senators who are having discussions about how to change the way the budgeting and spending works here in Washington, D.C. to deliver a better outcome for the American people. But here we are at this moment, just hours away from a looming government shutdown. And so whether we're in business or dealing with issues in personal life, we have a choice to make right here in front of us. A choice that we have to make in less than 7 hours. We can either keep the federal government open and fund health insurance for 24,000 Montana children. It's about 9 million American children. The idea was let's put something in play that ought to be agreeable to both sides. Something pretty clean, not attached with a bunch of political, divisive kind of issues. No, we're going to extend the funding of the government, avoid a government shutdown, and let's permanently reauthorize for 6 years the Children's Health Insurance Program. Very popular with the American people. Either we do that or we shut the government down. But here's where we're at. And there'll be a lot of folks spinning a lot of different messages, but let me try to articulate exactly where we're at in as simple terms as possible. The House has passed an agreement to keep the lights on and to fund children's health insurance. They passed it. The president has said he will sign that agreement to keep the lights on and to fund children's health insurance. So the House has passed it. The president says he'll sign it. So now it's up to this body. Will we get 60 senators? It will take Republicans and Democrats, because there's only 51 Republican senators, and the rules of the Senate require 60. Will we get 60 senators, a good bipartisan vote, to keep the lights on and fund children's health insurance? That's the question. And we've got less than 7 hours to figure that out. I implore my Democratic colleagues not to follow their leader, who insists that DACA and illegal immigration gets fixed today in the next 7 hours. We all know illegal immigration is a very important issue for our nation. It has to be addressed. We must secure our borders, and we must resolve this issue. But let's keep it all in perspective. In my home state of Montana, there are less than 100 DACA residents versus 1 million Montanans who would be hurt by a government shutdown, by men and women who wear the uniform. Said another way, the choice is between 100 DACA recipients, less than 100 in Montana, or the 24,000 children who depend on the Children's Health Insurance Program. And don't let these issues get confused by smoke and mirrors. That is the fundamental issue right now that Chuck Schumer and the leader of our friends across the aisle are talking about shutting down the government over. The right thing to do here is to vote yes today. Let's continue to fund the government while we work to address these issues related to illegal immigration and border security. I think Senator Langford was down here earlier. There are good bipartisan discussions going on as we speak. These are difficult issues to get sorted out. They're divisive issues. But I think there's a path forward. But to say that it has to get solved tonight and shut down the government, to me, is the wrong position to take. A shutdown means no long-term certainty for Montana children. A shutdown hurts our military. A shutdown hurts our veterans. Hey, I don't like another CR. I'd rather not have another CR. But guess what? You get paid to come down here and make a choice. Sometimes it's between two options, neither one are very appealing. I don't like the idea of having another CR. It's yet an example of a broken budgeting process. But the choice is either we buy some more time to resolve these issues of illegal immigration, or we shut down the government, harming our military, our veterans, our seniors, and compromising our national security. A government shutdown, I believe, is a mistake.